Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh. Thanks to Empire Properties and thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. Print management, document management, get everything you need into the cloud. Look, this is time for you to do a little assessment at work. Because, I mean, what are you doing? There's no sports last night. None. So what you should be doing is you should be checking out your expenses. And you're like, you know what? We could be saving money on print costs. So I'm going to contact Copiers Plus like Ovies and Giglio told me to do.
Okay, so yeah, this is a great ad. Copiers Plus, copiers-plus.com, right? I'm very concerned right now.
Why?
I am in panic mode right now.
Why?
Before the Hurricanes played the New Jersey Devils to start round one, what did we do? We went over to the arena. We had a conversation with Rod Brindamore.
Yeah.
Canes win in 5. Before the Carolina Hurricanes play the Washington Capitals in round 2, we go over to the practice place. We talked to Rod Brindamore. Heck, I even coached him up.
Did coach him up.
I mean, he was so grateful. I mean, no one ever would have thought to put Jacob Slavin on the ice against Alex Ovechkin. So brilliant coaching advice. They win in 5 games.
Yeah.
We did not go over to the arena yesterday and talk to Rod Brindamore before the start of the Eastern Conference Finals.
No, we did not.
Now, part of me is saying that was not a great idea because it happened twice. They've won twice. What are we doing here?
Yeah. Well, I thought about, for the record, I thought about this because they had availability on Sunday.
Oh, it was Sunday, not yesterday.
Yeah, it was Sunday. He had normal, I think it was normal availability yesterday. But
Okay.
They had availability on Sunday. The problem is that, see what happened was, I was at Invisalign for Junior Cane's tryouts.
Well, no, I wasn't blaming you. I was
I
just
took
saying it
this
was a
up.
failure on us.
Yeah. I actually took this up with Mike Sunheim
Okay, good.
because I'm like, Mike, your kid's here too. And why don't you rearrange everything around tryouts?
Yes. So I bring this up in a very specific reason because maybe that'll help us shift the mojo in a reverse way, if you will.
Well, I think the most important thing is that we have not moved the Mikko Rantanen jersey.
The jersey has not
It
moved.
is
That's
sitting right
good.
there. Sitting right there.
I'm
on
also
top of the fridge.
I got to be honest with you. I'm like also in my head now. Love the way that the Hurricanes are playing, but remember they have this break. And how many times have we seen even during the regular season where the Hurricanes get a break and then they come back and they're a little bit rusty and we got to hear about, well, maybe it was the break was a bad thing for you. Obviously the Panthers just played. They're in their stride. I'm worried that home ice tonight becomes quickly nullified by a game 1 loss to the Florida Panthers, who are underdogs tonight, which I thought was kind of interesting.
The Panthers are underdogs?
The Panthers in this game are underdogs. To win the cup now, though, the team with the longest odds in the field are the Carolina Hurricanes.
Interesting.
Just a week ago, they were the cup favorites. And now of the final 4 teams, they have the longest odds.
Interesting.
And they're still not long. Please don't get me wrong. It's like plus 340, I think.
I mean, I think the reason why is, clearly there are so many Florida Panthers fans out there. And you know how the national media
moving
is.
all that money.
Yeah, you know how the national media is for the Florida Panthers. I mean, they just ride. You think that they're excited about the Knicks, right? No. The folks up at ESPN are just hype about the Florida Panthers. So much so that my guess is we will see. Can I get odds on the amount of times I'll see a Carolina Panthers logo in place of a Florida Panthers logo on SportsCenter? Can I get an over-under on that?
So we've got Florida Panthers cup favorites right now, plus 230. McJesus and the Oilers, plus 265.
Yeah.
Mikko, plus 290. And they're the little old Hurricanes, plus 320.
I like it.
All of a sudden,
I like it.
The underdogs. So maybe that's a good sign.
Well, I'll say this.
When Vegas quits on you, maybe that's a good sign. All these years, they've been the Corsi Cup, analytical betting darlings, and now they're not.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what the Canes needed is for Vegas to give up on them.
I was going back through some stuff, and I went and fished out the Forsland conversation we had a week or 2 ago. And he said the team that the Canes don't want to see are the Florida Panthers. And I re-racked it here because I think he makes some good points. I think this is ultimately why Canes fans are not excited about seeing the Panthers again in the Eastern Conference Finals.
So if you allow the Hurricanes to score first, it's pretty much lights out. If you allow them to score first at home, it's definitely lights out. If you allow them to swarm, skate, check hard, defend well, make it real difficult, you never have the puck. When they get the puck, it's going at the net. There's people going to the net. It's chaotic. This is how they play. And it's a demanding system that certainly works to a T in the regular season. But when teams have a chance to game plan against it for 2 weeks, it might be a little bit different depending on the personnel and who can play that game. That's why when they get into a situation with a team, and they have in the past, like a Florida can play any way you want. Mm-hmm. Florida can play the skilled game. Florida can play a positional game. They can trap. They can check. They can force you into mistakes. They have an exceptional goaltender, and they play a heavy, gritty game, which I still don't see with the Hurricanes.
So that was Forsland a week or so ago, and that knock that Forsland brought up about playing a nitty-gritty type game has followed the Canes, although people would point out that the pests in New Jersey, the Canes handled that with calm. The pests in Washington, as we know, Tom Wilson can be he can get deep into his antics. The Canes didn't necessarily bite. I think we can all agree that the Florida Panthers are a different beast when it comes to this sort of thing, for all the reasons that John Forsland laid out. And I think it's interesting. We've kind of hit this interesting point with the Canes where we're now starting to retcon how people have talked about the Canes here.
Okay.
Like for instance, a buddy of mine sent this to me and wanted my thoughts on Spittin Chiclets. I believe this is Whitney. Again, I'm not somebody who listens to a lot of Spittin Chiclets. I've tried to listen to it just to kind of see what they're about and how they go about things. And again, I'm open to any and all different viewpoints, right? So I'm pretty sure this is Whitney, not Bissonnette.
Ryan Whitney.
Ryan Whitney, thank you. And he says, like, Canes fans need to stop caring about what anyone says. I was like, okay, here we go.
I want Carolina Hurricane fans to stop caring about what anyone says. Who cares? You got to be able to just let everyone else's opinion go in one year, out the other, like my headphones at the beginning of the show, and just say, we win. We win. We shut everyone up. It doesn't care if it's boring. I don't mind if we win 1-0 because all we do is win. So I don't know if they're going to be able to get it done, but congrats, because you just made Washington look like an AHL team.
It sure did. And
okay, sure, whatever. I have two immediate thoughts to that clip. Canes fans do only care about the fact that they've won. So there's that. To say stop caring what other people think. Well, man, that's like against your business plan. Like, that is antithetical to what you're trying to do. You say things in order to get people going. I know this because we're in the same business too. I'm not saying that our opinions are fake, they're ginned up or whatever it is. I'm simply saying you do this because you want your opinion heard and you want people to react to it. So to say in that situation, hey, Canes fans, stop caring what other people think. Bullshit. You want Canes fans to pay attention to what you think because that means they share your clips. They get into your comments. They interact with you. So that's like a big old hand wank from me on the Whitney thing. Stop caring what other people think. You want us to care what you think. But I think there's a deeper thing here when it comes to clips like this that I've seen kind of floating around as we get into the Eastern Conference Finals and everything else.
Can I translate what he was saying there?
What was he saying?
Stop being so soft.
I know. Well, then I would say, how about you stop being soft when people call your bullshit? Like who's soft? Like, let's think about this. Who's actually soft in these situations? The person who is reacting to what you're saying, or the person who is now reacting to your reaction with, hey, chill out, man. That's soft. And you know what's even soft? I'll take it a step further. You know what's even softer than that? Just admit you were wrong. That's where we are.
Yeah, I don't know where they were on the Canes at
No,
the start of the playoffs.
They were online talking about the Canes needed to shut it down after the Mikko Rantanen trade.
After the Mikko trade. For sure.
Just say you were wrong. It ain't that fucking hard. I do it every freaking day. So just own it, man. You got it wrong with the Canes. Move it along. But people want to double down, or they do even softer things like, oh, hey.
What does it matter?
What does it matter what I said? Well, then why am I watching you, dude? Anyway, speaking of which, we got this from the sports phone. Sorry, I went on a tangent there. From a 336. Hey, Joes, are we going to be monitoring the trash talk coming from the Levitard show towards the Canes? I want to destroy them in all of Florida. Let's go, Canes. I reached out to Stugatz. He has not texted me back. I don't know. I might reach out to Zaslow because Zaslow is the only one on that show who actually cares about hockey. Like, I have a really hard time. Don't get me wrong. I like the Levitard show. But when they get into Panther mode, it is so hysterical, like bandwagoning. And I'm not bringing it up in a gatekeeping way. It's just like, yeah, man, they're trying to replicate with the Florida Panthers what they were trying to do with LeBron James and the Heat. And it's not the same thing. Like, oh, we're going to do a billboard in North Carolina or something. Like, nobody cares about it that way. Nobody cares about that way. Here's another one from a 252. Biz. This is from Spittin Chiclets. Florida is wonderful to watch, as he states, because they forecheck and Toronto pinned, but not scores. But the Canes are boring. How is this narrative? Exactly. I think most people are wrapped up about that. Speaking of social media, a quick transition away from the Canes here for a little bit because we're just in full. Buddy, if it wasn't for the Canes, today was the day. Today was the day. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, last night
You're coming in like Kramer with the $20.
Like, I'm out. Mark the tape. May 20th. We're here.
We did it.
We're officially here, man. Where am I? No, I mean, basically,
We got a baseball game.
That's the thing. That's the thing. We got a baseball game at 9:20. This is recording at 9:26. Are we really playing 9 a.m. baseball?
Poor Cal.
Because that was the thing that I was like, when I woke up this morning, I'm like, okay, we got the Canes, game plan for today. Civian's going to join us, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, but what else is going on? And I'm like, oh yeah, ACC Baseball Tournament. And I looked at the schedule. I'm like, get the hell out. There's I thought Vaught was kidding yesterday. There's a baseball game being played right now and Cal's the participant.
6 local time for them.
6:30 in the morning for them. Please tell me they at least had a home. They were away somewhere on the East Coast before they made the trip. Because Stanford was here.
Stanford was here, got to stay here, but
Cal just made the trip?
No, Cal was at home. Poor Cal.
What's the score right
now? The ACC is letting me down right now. Let's see.
Wash, rinse, repeat.
No, I know, but I'm not trying to be a jerk.
Yeah,
their website could be a little bit wonky sometimes.
Fair enough. But anyway, I just thought that was kind of funny. And then we're also entering into
it's 2-0 Cal.
What? Somebody get the cafecito for Miami. Come on, guys. That's, you know what, though, it tracks because things don't really get popping in Miami until later in the day. It's a sleepy town, you know?
Yep.
It's a sleepy town.
Cal scored 2 runs in the second inning.
That's funny.
Wow.
That is funny. No, but as I was looking at things, I'm like, all right, well, what else? What have we missed? What do we talk about? I'm like, do I really want to talk about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese? I'm like, man, it makes everybody stupid. I forgot that we had the PGA Championship over the weekend. And Scotty Scheffler won.
Mm-hmm.
What'd that mean?
Well, now he's got something besides a Masters to his majors resume.
Does it count? Is it okay? Does he take it?
Absolutely.
Okay,
counts.
I'm just double checking. When we talk about Scheffler's win, when his majors total, is this one that is only worth like a quarter of the other majors? Are we good with this?
It also shows that he can win somewhere other than a TPC course or Augusta, although the main correlation to Quail Hollow is Augusta.
Fair enough.
But no, I mean, he was spectacular on Saturday in particular. John Rahm walked him down a little bit on Sunday, but once they both got to 9 under, Rahm took the pipe a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm really starting to get worried about my real takeaway from the entire weekend is not that Scotty Scheffler is the best golfer in the world. He is. My real takeaway from the weekend is this is the second straight major tournament, that Bryson DeChambeau has gotten a lead on either Saturday or Sunday and immediately went into the tank. I'm talking immediately. He had the lead on Saturday, looking really good on a course that is custom fit for him.
Yeah.
And immediately finishes like, what was it? Either 5 or 6 over on the last 3 holes. I mean, he was god awful. He rebounded a little bit on Sunday, but he's got, and this happened to him at Augusta too. And you got to remember now, he won at Pinehurst only because Rory took the pipe. So it's like,
so it's interesting.
I think Bryson's really good. People connect with Bryson.
Yeah.
I think he's one of these personalities that golf needs. We only get to see him now in majors. He's performing in these majors, top 5, top 10 finishes. But at some point, man, you got to close those things out.
It's interesting what broke contain for me coming out of the PGA Championship. There were 2 things that broke contain, got into my radar. One of them was Rory. just completely gone.
The driver.
Just gone.
Yeah.
And then him not wanting to talk to the media. I think he skipped out on all four media availabilities. And this is a deeper conversation where Rory's like, I'm under no obligation to talk to you, according to PGA rules.
Yeah.
And that has set some people off.
I don't like it. Obviously, I don't like it.
I don't like it. And the other thing that broke contain was when social media managers go wild.
Yeah.
So the PGA Tour put it on blast. I mean, they had the graphic ready to go. So Scotty Scheffler wins since 2022. Scotty Scheffler, 15. The Carolina Panthers, 14. This was on Twitter. This was on Instagram. This was on Facebook.
This is the PGA Tour?
This is the PGA Tour.
Are you sure it wasn't the fake TUOR?
No. Wes Durham actually texted this to me earlier.
Okay.
And I said, is this real? And because I had the same thought you did.
Yeah.
Like, is this
There is one that is called PGA TUOR.
Like NBA Central, right? Like, we know these things exist, these fake accounts. No, this was the PGA Tour. And Joe Person from the Charlotte Observer followed up on it and did a screen grab of the Instagram account too.
Okay.
And the PGA Tour trolled the Panthers on Instagram and X, but it's since been deleted. Probably did not sit well with David Tepper, considering he's a member of Quail Hollow and lives on the course. So I had a couple of thoughts on this. The first one being that it's the generation coming up and manning these social media accounts. Somebody needs to explain to them. Somebody has to be the adult in the room that not everything has to be a dunk.
Right.
Like, read the room, man.
Right.
Read the room. You're in Charlotte's backyard. You're in the Panthers' backyard. The last thing you should be doing is trolling the host city. But I get it. I understood what was like, I bet this is going to be funny.
Weren't even that bad this year.
The Panthers were fine.
Functional.
The Panthers,
normal.
Panthers are just minding their business.
Yeah.
The Panthers are minding their business, looking at the history of opening up with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We're ready, man. They're going to have the last laugh.
And making Super Bowl plans, right?
Yes.
So they're just minding their business, man. Let them live. But like, we live in this era where like the social media, man. By the way, this bites everybody in the ass. As much as I love the Carolina Hurricanes and their social media, remember it bit them in the ass when they put out the Cry shirt. Remember the Cry shirt?
Yeah.
They put the Cry shirt out and I said, whoa, 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 whoa. And sure enough, they end up getting swept. So you got to be careful sometimes with these things. That would definitely be one of them. But then I had this other thought. I'm like, the Panthers. Is there something going on Panthers mode? Speaking of the Le Batard show, do I break out the current affair music? Do we start doing some rookie mini camps, Joe?
Oh, please.
We ready?
I'm ready.
We ready? So I went over to my favorite aggregator, Cat Crave. You ready for this, Joe?
I am. Give it to me.
Jalen Coker silences doubters as Panthers' forgotten weapon earns high praise.
Forgotten weapon.
Okay,
Love it.
First and foremost, Jalen Coker is an underrated player to watch. Okay, first and foremost. If you are very online like I am, Jalen Coker is not going under the radar. People love some Jalen Coker. They even have a nickname online on Twitter and on Reddit. Do you know what that nickname is for the people who truly believe in Jalen Coker, the unsigned wide receiver?
Let me guess, they're cokeheads.
Cokeheads.
Yeah.
So if you already have a hive, you're not under the radar, man.
Right.
But it does tap into, and I'm not singling out the Panthers, we have officially tapped into, oh man, getting that tingle. I feeling frosty. I'm going to fall in love with these rookies. You know, I was kind of questioning what the draft process, but I saw them catch a ball in shorts. Ooh, yeah. Light the fire. Pour me a little bourbon. Let me watch some quarterbacks throw with no defense in shorts. Give it to me like Giants fans.
I love the self-awareness here, though.
This is aware. Yeah, shit. I'm about to convince myself a player in shorts with no pass rush is about to save this franchise again. And what's this? Is it the Giants? This is from Fireside Giants throwing darts. Is this Jackson Dart? Is that a Jackson Dart throw? Please tell me.
Give me the slow-mo.
Oh,
the
yeah.
zoom in slow-mo.
Yes.
There's no one on the screen with the receiver.
I love it. I love it. We are officially in hype me up mode. I love this time of the year, man.
The best.
The camps, all that kind of stuff. We're going to fool ourselves into these types of things, but we're not fooling ourselves when it comes to the Carolina Panthers because scheduling history dictates.
It's fated.
They're going to
written in the stars.
Super Bowl.
Housekeeping.
It's brought to you by Enovana. Check them out online at enovana.com. Green Cleaning Solutions. They're gonna be at my house next week, Joe.
Perfect.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Enovana.
We have an After Dark tonight, immediately following the Eastern Conference Finals Game 1 at Lenovo Center. That's brought to you by Bloomin' Blinds. Check them out online, bloominblinds.com. That's Bloomin', no G, just I-N, blinds.com. Or just call Chris directly over at Bloomin' Blinds. Locally owned, great family, 919-980-9815. Something as simple as blinds repair, a couple of window treatments. But if you want to go all in, 10 or more treatments, 10% off. And we're talking like blackout. We're talking automated. I mean, blind technology.
We're talking, I want to sleep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blind technology is on a completely different level, man. It's insane. So we'll be back tonight for OG After Dark. That will also, with a little bit of housekeeping here, that will also act as tomorrow's podcast. Tonight's.
Okay.
After Dark will act as tomorrow's podcast because it's an 8 o'clock start. A little sleepy.
Perfect.
Would you rather have a 9 a.m. hockey game? Or would you rather have an 8 p.m. hockey
I think
game?
I would rather have a 9 a.m. game. But
Yeah,
that's just me.
I know you would. I know you would. So big thanks to Bloomin' Blinds. Also, OG Like It's canned today. Should be ready to go for Thursday.
Should be
ready to go on Thursday over at Breeze Through. So be on the lookout for that. Our beer will be available at Breeze Through for sure over at the Lenovo Center.
I'm trying to airdrop this sign.
It will also be,
Maybe I have it.
No, you have it. You have it. No, you didn't send it to me actually. Oh, wait a minute. I just got a text from Whit. Here it is. Here's the can. If you're watching on YouTube, I got it on the camera. They're canned, ready to go. See that?
Beauties.
Oh,
here it is. Hold on.
They're beauties. Very excited about this. What are you trying to pull up?
The display.
Okay. Do I vamp here? Do I wait?
I mean, you just got to give me a second.
Okay, well, I'll keep going. Anyway, they're going to be available at Breeze Through. It's going to be available at Longleaf Swine as well. Shady's going to have it. I believe State of Beer in downtown Raleigh is going to have it as well. They're going to have a few cases.
There you go.
So go check that out.
There's the display.
There's display. Look at that.
For the Breeze Through.
I love it.
Some of the comments when I posted this, they said, OG Light makes your hair grow.
You know what?
That's great advertising then.
Hey, man, if that's the elixir that'll put hair back on my head instead of using hymns, hey, man, I'm all in. I'm all for it. Let's do this. I mentioned it'll be available at Shady's. Well, our folks at Whitaker and Hammer have been helping us out. They own the spot, and Whitaker and Hammer can help you with your legal needs. In the event that people complain that this beer is not growing out my hair, well, you know what? Take it up with Whitaker.
Yeah,
we have a representation. So whatever kind of legal needs you got, they can handle them. WH.lawyer. Again, that's WH.lawyer. You're in the building tonight. It's time to Two Roosters it up. Stress eat. The best way to stress eat is with ice cream from Two Roosters. Get the Slavin Sunday. Go to tworoosters.com for the flavors at their stores. We're going to have our flavor in July. But right now, it is peak Two Roosters time. Go. Stress eat with the Slavin Sunday. It's the best deal in the building. And of course, our friends at Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority, check them out online at bugsbite.com. Bundle and save. You get the outside of your house taken care of with Mosquito Authority. Get the inside of your house taken care of with Pest Authority. Mosquitoes outside, roaches inside, any sort of pest, they can handle it. So go to bugsbite.com. Again, that's bugsbite.com. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline is Sara Civian. Civ Report is the Substack. Subscribe to it. I do. She just put out lessons learned from the last round. Civ, what up?
Not much. I agree with Joe. I would like a 9 a.m. start to this game, but we will settle for 8 p.m.
Are we officially washed? Is that what we're saying?
I don't want to admit it, but yes.
Yeah. It all comes for us eventually. All right, Civ. This should be we got an OG Sports phone call. That's how we're going to get things going with the Canes and the Panthers. And I feel like this is reminiscent of when people would tweet at you, what are the lines?
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
All right, this is from a 919.
Hey, Joes. I really enjoyed the conversation about storylines and stuff from the last episode. It was good and fun. But now to talk some real talk, I'm looking at the Hurricanes and the Panthers matchups, and I'm seeing in the Panthers a team just as fast as us, a little even more physical than us, more high-end talent, and depth certainly comparable as ours, only as the Canes, arguably as good. Where is the advantage for the Canes? What's the hope in Game 1 that I should look to see as a potential way for the Canes to make an impact?
All right, there it is, Civ. We want deep hockey analysis. We get pucks deep, we get analysis deep. That's how it works. What do we got, Civ?
Well, I feel like, as the caller said, it really is one of the closest matchups of the postseason, maybe the closest. I think the Hurricanes have the advantage when it comes to conditioning and when it comes to health for once, right, with the Hurricanes. And when it comes to the Panthers had very short off seasons for the past 3 years or what have you, and they didn't have a long turnaround with Game 7. It was Sunday. Now they're going to play again. So I feel like that, combined with the Hurricanes' conditioning and what Spencer Carberry himself had said about the conditioning of the team, right? It's like, I think there's a slight advantage there. And then you got goaltending, right? Is Bob going to be playoff Bob good or playoff Bob bad? He was both last series. And is Freddie going to get hurt or stay healthy? These are the questions.
Mm. I think the Canes' advantage is on defense. I mean, I think the Canes have the best defense in the NHL. I think they've had the best defense in the NHL for the last however many years. Their goalie just hasn't been commensurate to the level of their defense. Now, in these playoffs, Freddie has been. So the question is, does Freddie hold up? Does Freddie play like he did in the previous 2 rounds? You know, I mean, it's hard, Civ, to look at the Panthers forward lineup and find any kind of holes. I mean, the former Kane, the brief former Kane, Luosterainen, he's got 12 points in the playoffs. Like, he's supposed to be the hole. Like, I look at what they're doing right now, and I know they had a couple blowouts with Toronto, but man, they're pumping the points up.
It's really the depth, and they have the matchup Game 1. So that's going to be huge for the Canes too, where it's like they go down line by line by line, and they literally get pucks deep. It's so cliche, but it's a team like the Panthers that actually does that. And then it's like Brad Marchand randomly comes at you, Luosterainen comes at you, and they grind you down until those players get there. And then it's Sam Bennett on the power play. Like, they just find the most efficient way to do it.
One thing that I'm going to be interested to see play out, and I referenced at the start of the podcast, New Jersey had their pests. Timo Meyer wanted to be that guy, and the Canes were chill with it. We know Washington, we don't have to relitigate Tom Wilson conversations and whatnot, but the Canes, for the most part, we're chill with it. Florida's different. It goes beyond just the antics, right? This is a physical team that gets away with, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm using the quotes here, a brand of hockey that is going to drive people nuts. This is a Zapruder film of guys and hits and doing little dirty things here and there. All that stuff is already online. So is there like anything you would say to Canes fans to, like, hey, you've been cool with it before, but understand these things are going to be a little bit different against Florida?
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to get in your head on and off the ice, and with controversial plays, of course. But I think it bodes well for the Canes and their maturity when you see someone like Svechnikov not taking the bait, Aho not taking the bait when it comes to the Capitals. And I know it was all the Capitals had, and they were in a position where they were losing. When the Hurricanes, they're going to be losing a game or two at the very least here, right? Like, they're not going to sweep the Panthers. You cannot play any different. That's what I think, because they're going to, I feel like the Capitals used tactics when they were down, but the Panthers are going to just, that's who they are, right? They're going to use these tactics. Sam Bennett is going to do something controversial with his play in front of the net. And you just have to kind of know that, prepare for it. And even when you're losing, like, don't let it get the best of you.
I've been so focused on Brad Marchand and the move that the Panthers made, which I really thought was brilliant. What has Tkachuk been up to in these playoffs? You know, he had the injury. He didn't finish the regular season. His numbers are fine in the playoffs, but it just feels like we haven't heard that much from him. And obviously the Canes are very familiar with him.
I think the Panthers haven't had to pull out the big guns like him yet. They've been so dominant in these series game by game. It's like he's clearly hurt and is skating a little bit weird and nursing something. But if they're in an elimination situation, I think that's when he comes out.
Okay. All right. One thing to get away from the Canes for a little bit, because I do think this kind of impacts, not to look too far ahead because we're in the middle of the Eastern Conference Finals, but people have talked about what the Canes are going to do this offseason with all the salary cap space they're going to have. And we just saw what happened in Toronto. And Paul Maurice is absolutely right of how he talked about Toronto and how they treat the team. And in a way, probably relishing the fact that, oh, Game 7 is going to be up there. I know how this is going to go. And of course, he was right in the way that people have been talking about, break up the core four. This is it. It doesn't work. All these other kind of things. Would the Canes go after Mitch Marner? You know, like the lessons learned of this year with Mikko Rantanen, do you go back to it and say, all right, man, we're going to throw a bunch of money at another top end guy like Marner, who I know there was a connection with the trades and all that kind of stuff and people saying no and all that kind of stuff. But I am curious if the thought process before the trade deadline was, yeah, man, we're absolutely going to throw some money and maybe it changes given on performance.
Yeah, you have to really talk to him and sit down and figure out where his head's at before you kind of make that deal. I mean, I guess it's free agency, so he can do whatever he wants. But he did block a trade with the Hurricanes, but his wife was like severely pregnant at the time. And I think he probably just wanted to finish out the season like no harm, no foul about the Hurricanes themselves. I feel he wanted to just prove one more time with the core four before free agency began that he could do it or not. Oh, an unfortunate end there. But you know what? I think he'd be hungrier than ever. I love him as a player. I feel that this team was just, it wasn't cursed at the end. It was just not working out. There's too much pressure, too much bad blood, too many bad vibes there. And it's not fun. And you could just tell by the way the Stars didn't perform after Game 3 that they just aren't doing this. Like, it's over. And I think the Hurricanes should go after Marner. They should pursue him.
I mean, I made the argument that one of the sells for somebody like Marner is just talk to Freddie and talk to him about the differences and how they talk about things here versus how they talk about things up there. Talk to Paul Maurice.
I talked to Jake Gardner a lot about it at the time when he was a Hurricane, and it was just like night and day. And obviously he loved his time in Toronto and stuff, but it was just, you feel like you can breathe a little bit.
A little bit. And that was the thing to kind of tie it back to the Carolina Hurricanes. I get that there's this attitude of, man, the Canes, you know, like the Panthers again, blah. I get it. But at the same time, I'm kind of happy that Freddie doesn't have to go back up to Toronto in the middle of the Eastern Conference Finals. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. And it's the way they kind of, I mean, I think people should be tough to some extent and be able to handle a stupid question, right? And we can like laugh about it. I even saw Paul Maurice was asked, does it sway him to see because he's from Canada, like a Canadian team doing well. Like, what the hell are you talking about? I think he wants the team he's coaching to do well. Like, there's a level of delusion that is unmatched, but it kind of makes hockey. And to the same point, if you're a Hurricanes fan, you're glad he's not going to Toronto. He's going to be like, it's not just the games on the ice and the former friends or what have you. It's just kind of like the questions that you've never even thought of that maybe make you go, what?
You actually brought to mind one of my favorite stories post 2006 Stanley Cup for the Carolina Hurricanes, and talking with Kevin Adams, who's now the general manager of the Buffalo Sabres. Mm-hmm. And for those who might not have the context here, in order for the Canes to get to the Cup, they had to get through the Buffalo Sabres in a pretty contentious series back in 2006. And Kevin went back to Buffalo, to upstate New York area, with the Cup. And he had talked to somebody who he had known for a long time, and he had asked Kevin, but wasn't there a part of you that was like, would have been cool if Buffalo had won the Cup instead? Like, you know, for the area and for, you know, the lack of championships in the Buffalo area. Like, wasn't there like a little part of you that like, oh man, it would have been cool? And Kevin's just looking at him like, are you serious right now? My name is on the Cup. What are you talking about? But to your point, Civ, that is a fun hockey mindset sometimes.
It's just the ridiculous delusion the northern teams have. And it's because they can't win. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know what it even feels like. They can't even remember how intense, how good it feels. So I guess they don't even know.
We have, we're about to enter one of my favorite parts of the postseason. We have warm and fuzzies for Paul Maurice, or at least I do. Rod Brindamore does not, though.
No.
And it's always funny to me, Sid, when we get into a post game and we hear somebody try to be like, yeah, but like Rod, like, what did you learn from Mo? And hey, Rod, like, isn't it cool that you get to? And it's like, do you know like the one coach that Rod wants to beat more than anybody? Do you also realize the reason? Like, if I could do what is it? It's not the gemstones, it's the time stones,
No,
it's the infinity stones.
It's always sunny. You're doing the lines together on the board.
From the
Marvel.
Marvel.
Yeah, you're talking about the infinity stones.
If I could move the infinity stones,
yes.
Okay. All of these calls that we get about Brent Burns, all of these texts that we get about Brent Burns are Paul Maurice's fault. Okay. Rod's playing this motherfucker because Mo benched him and stripped his captaincy. Okay. So you want to blame somebody for Brent Burns, blame Paul Maurice. So I want to put these gemstones back in the right order so I don't have to hear about Brent Burns.
Infinity stones.
Yeah.
I want to see some Mo must go signs.
Again.
And you got to play the loud booming noise and head coach Paul Maurice. And the only time they would play these loud noises on the scoreboard back in the day was when they would say, and head coach Paul Maurice, so they could try to drown out the booze.
Yeah. Yeah. When he came back, the signs came out. Mo must go. ... Again.
No.
Yeah, right. In 09.
After 09.
Yeah. So that existed. Although you bring up Brent Burns, and I guess we can close the conversation here. We finally did get the Alexander Nikishin debut in Game 5, and
I hope Chatfield's okay.
In conclusion,
this gets back to your point about rest and all that kind of stuff. If the Canes are really going to do this, they have to be at 100%, and the rest allows them to be 100% rust aside. Yeah. So we got Nikishin. So we got that taste. The first hit is free, and now everybody like, come on, got need some more Nikishin. Let's freaking go, right? But that's not how it's going to work. Because to Joe's point, we know what Chatfield is capable of and how crucial he is and how good he's been as a defender in this postseason. And it's like every time. This is what I love about fandom sometimes. Brent Burns actually had a good series against Washington. Did the sports phone blow up? No. In the New Jersey series, though, did the sports phone blow up? Yeah. Get him off the ice. Yeah, this and that. But I mean, in Svechnikov's key goal that wrapped that thing up, Burns was in on that. So I do think, like, at this point, you gotta just accept it for what it is. Burns is out there, and Burns is going to give you some quality play. He's also going to give you some stuff that's going to make you mad. But clearly, Rod has made it cemented. This is what it is. Get with it, unless he truly gets hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I forget the actual stat, but I know that he was on the ice for a hell of a lot more goals than he was off, he allowed. So I just feel you look at that and you say, all right, I'm going to change my opinion right now. Again, the Capitals are a slower team. The Panthers are really fast. True. So how about shift by shift, period by period, game by game? Let's see how all the defensemen do and react accordingly. And it's only good. The point of being totally healthy is that every player has to play their absolute best to stay in the lineup, unless you're Rod Brindamore and Brent Burns, right? Then it's like, all right, I give him a longer leash. But I think with Nikishin coming, that really does provide, it's not just him as the player being awesome. It's also like the level of competition. Everybody else has to rise up because they know that their place in the lineup could be gone.
Sara Civian, Civ Report is a Substack. Check it out. Go subscribe. I subscribe. It's a fun read, just like Civian. Very fun to talk to. All right, Civ, we'll talk to you later.
Anytime. See ya.
We just took a hockey break with Sara Civian.
Let's take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy Inhale.
So check out the Happy Inhale app. Easiest way to order Happy Inhale. Download it. Use our promo code OG25 to save 25% off that first order. And make sure you screen grab it and send us one. Send us a screen grab because you can be in the running for the black card, which gets you 20% off for life. Look, the app makes it super easy. We're busy. We're trying to get as much done as possible before the game tonight. I got to be like 2 places at once. I got an Enlo band concert. Then I got to go to the arena. Where am I going to fit in a quick dinner? Happy Inhale.
Hot honey chicken. Get it while it lasts.
Make it work. Make it work. Big thanks to State Farm. Matt Davis in Garner. Check them out, insuregarner.com. Call them directly at 919-779-8277. As I joked, actually, I wasn't joking yesterday. Eastern Conference Finals tickets are really expensive. So how are you going to save money? So you can buy more tickets? Easy. Save money on your insurance. So contact Matt Davis at 919-779-8277. Call him and tell him, hey, Ovies said you can help me save enough money to buy some tickets to a game. He's got you. So insuregarner.com. Speaking of homes, Hometown Realty. Check them out, myhtr.com. Buy, sell with confidence. There's a lot of talk about guaranteed offers. Guaranteed offers sound convenient, but also you're leaving money on the table, especially in this real estate market, as more and more people are pushing out to the outer stretches of what you consider the triangle. The housing market's still hot, so make sure you maximize it when you sell. Or if you're looking to buy, make sure you have the experts that know the area better than anybody else. So contact myhtr.com so you can buy and sell with confidence. Joining us from Michigan on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, it is Gordon Miller, Miller Lending. Check them out online, millerlending.com/the OG. That's our specific landing page. There's a Raleigh Wine Shop gift basket in it for you when you take that thing to close. Gordon, what's up, man? Wild and wonderful Michigan.
Yeah, it's really warm, as you can see. I'm in hoodie wear today.
I see
So
it.
so
Wait,
I think that'll be good for about another month. So if you want to send me an OG hoodie, I'll be able to rock that next time.
Even better, you should go to Breaking Tea, search for Ovies and Giglio, get yourself a Dead Conference hoodie. Looks just like the one you're wearing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on.
So you're saying there's a copyright problem here?
No.
Oh, okay.
Paul,
All right.
you know who I'm married to?
I do.
You owe us after losing your previous edition on this program. We had people coming at us, Gordon, in the after dark, like, "Hey,
really?
What is up with this Gordon Miller guy?" And I was like, "Listen, take his mortgage advice, take his refi advice for sure, but we need to get you a little redemption today. So let's do this proper."
I said it was at no cost. I said no cost on the picks, right?
The cost.
If you want, and Joe, we have that story saved, right? If you want the 5-star picks, the ones that are really guaranteed, we need an 800 toll-free number.
There we go. 900 number.
Yes, we got to sell these picks.
Yeah,
the ones you get now, you might as well just reverse, but that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, you went 1 and 2 last time. This was 5-6. So you're back here on 520 for redemption. Baseball is your sport. What do you got for us today?
Well, I was counting the Tigers win over Colorado, even though it was a day later. So I'm gonna say they eventually went 2 and 2.
2 and 2. Okay.
Eventually, but yeah, today looks like a good underdog day. So as Joe mentioned last time, the great thing about underdogs is how they multiply. And the setup right now in terms of baseball being streaky, I will be on dogs today. Okay. So I'm even going to skip the Tigers Cardinals game. I just got a funny feeling about that, but we're gonna rock the dogs today. So Joe, if you want to just go through the dogs real quick for me, then I'll let you know and let everybody know that I'm about to pick the wrong thing.
Okay. So your dogs today would be the Rangers plus 160 against the Yankees.
Yes, I like that one.
Okay,
that'll be one.
Okay,
Rangers playing better. The Yankees bullpen is in shambles.
The Marlins coming off of a win over the Cubs at plus 115. Marlins are at home.
I would not suggest the Cubs in this game, but I probably will not play the Marlins.
Okay. You have the awful Pittsburgh Pirates at home. It's definitely not Paul Skeens pitching. Plus 115 against the Reds.
Do you know Paul Skeens has, I think, lost his last 4 or 5 starts now?
Yeah, the Pirates are in disarray.
They're bad.
They fire their coach and all those other things too. So
yeah, so the Reds are going to be a favorite that you'd probably want to throw in.
Okay. Yeah, the Nats are at home plus 155 against the Braves ace.
We will pass on that because the Braves are really questionable. The Nats are that bottom of the ninth, never get the last out type of team. It seems when I'm betting against them, so there'll be nothing on that game.
All right. The Red Sox are at home coming off of a win over the Mets. It is Clay Holmes, though, going for the Mets. Red Sox plus 110.
I am passing on that one as well. The logic would say the Mets, but again, I just got a feeling that the teams that won yesterday may very well repeat today.
Okay. Another home dog would be Toronto plus 105 going against the Padres. Best pitcher. The Toronto did win yesterday against the Padres. Blue Jays plus 105.
I'm going to pass on that one. The number doesn't do anything for me.
Okay. The Orioles fought late last night, but the Brewers ultimately prevailed. Orioles on the road plus 110.
Orioles are so bad. If you want to do this for amusement purposes, go against the Orioles until they win.
Okay.
That's funny.
You're not finding a lot of dogs right
No.
now, sir. We got Peyton Wilson's brother Bryce on the mound for the White Sox tonight. They're playing the Red Hot Mariners. White Sox at home plus 150.
That's going to have to be another pass. The White Sox are playing better, but I can't go against the Mariners right now either.
All right, you want to fade your own team and their ace Screwball on the mound tonight for the Tigers in St. Louis. Cardinals home dog plus 160.
That's more of a bad Hank prediction, so I'm going to pass on that.
You're running out of options here, sir.
No, I've got them all saved up. I'm ready.
Okay. I'm going to skip the Twins and Guardians because we're not getting plus money either way. Phillies, Rockies. Rockies at home plus 230 against Luzardo and the Phillies.
I think the run line even is so bad on Philly that you've got to just stay off of that one. There's no money there unless you took a shot on Colorado plus a run and a half.
All right, maybe here the Royals on the road against the Giants. Royals plus 120.
That's another one of our dogs right there. The Royals.
Okay,
Royals are a strong team right now.
Okay, we got that. Angels also a dog tonight. Again, we won with the Angels last night.
We
plus
did.
140 against the A's.
I don't know where it's coming from, but the Angels have gotten hot. But I got to save a spot for the D-backs.
Okay, D-backs. So you want 3 or 4 teams in this round robin?
I'm going to play 4.
4. Okay.
Yep.
D-backs are plus 195 against the Dodgers. Every single time I bet on the Dodgers, they lose.
D-backs were a nice big underdog last night too, and they won easily. So yeah, I'm looking D-backs strong, and Dodgers a little bit of a superstar lull with their whole bullpen is on the injured list. Which, should you have looked at the history of those players, it really didn't seem like a surprise to me.
Okay, so
But,
those are all your options. You want to throw the Angels in there?
If somebody wants to go 5 teams, we can throw the Angels in.
What's your 4th then? I have you with Texas, Kansas City, and Arizona.
Oh well, we were going to do the Reds, but let's just do all dogs then. So we'll make the Angels the 4th team.
Okay, it's written in stone.
There we go. And
Yeah,
and if this is wrong again, it's brought to you at no cost. It's
right.
These are
It's like a refi. It's like a refi.
Yes, these are exactly like a no closing cost refi. And if you don't like the process and the picks, then they were free. If you want to pay, then you get the gold star, the 5-star gold star Wayne Root lock picks.
That I was so I asked for story time last time. Although we're talking about dogs, the Canes are now dogs to win the cup. You want to take those dogs too?
I would put something on them. Although I don't want to sit here and say that the Panthers may just beat them up again in a long series. But
Yeah.
we need another Kachuk brother. Is there another one on the way? Can we commission the mom and dad to make
Yeah. I feel like if I'm going to guarantee something, if we're going to get into the spirit of things, I'm guaranteeing at least one win in the Eastern Conference Finals for the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm guaranteeing one. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not going to be a sweep.
It's one win. I'm guaranteeing it's not going to be a sweep. I can guarantee it won't be a sweep. There's 2 stories I wanted to talk to you about before we say.
What does guarantee exactly mean, though?
What do you mean?
You're going to guarantee. So what if they got swept?
Then I will
Drink
the Malort.
I mean, I was going to say I'll do Malort shots on the next show.
I was thinking like a stuffed, Oreo combination state fair ritual.
I'll do these airplane bottles up in the arena. That's what I'll do.
All right.
I'll bring them up. That's what I'll do.
Everybody marked that pick down because mine I can't promise, but if we go 4-0, then it's over. We're gonna turn this into an ESPN bets show.
So the last time we chatted with you on story time with Gordon, Tuesdays with Gordon, we had talked about highlight, but eventually we're going to get into your days of of calling. Did you ever actually, for those who don't know who Wayne Allen Root is, this was in the weird proto days of legal gambling. And I remember in the 850 The Buzz days, there would be these ads where you call this number and you're going to get the guaranteed winner for Monday Night Football. You know, nobody's picks do better than such and such on Saturday when he's got all dogs getting you big money. And you would call this number. I did it once out of curiosity, just to see, like, all right, how does this work? Am I actually going to get free picks? This is not really how it worked. Because once they have your number, man, they were relentless. They'd call you to do these things. So Wayne Allen Root was like the most famous one. He would like have ads on ESPN and whatnot. That dude, what is that dude up to these days? What is he doing? I don't even know where he is.
I would not. If we searched him right now and put a picture up on screen, I would guarantee that he's done the whole Joan Rivers thing and looks exactly like he did when he was 30 years old. Wayne didn't really have an avenue to grow old. I mean, if he's bald right now, I have to see a photo of that. But
he's a podcaster now. It's called
of
Reaction.
course.
Yes.
So all we need to do every week now is just call that number and
there you go.
But if you call it twice and get the opposite pick, you're going to win at least once.
So if you're watching on YouTube, I just pulled up the image search for Wayne Allen Root. Yeah, I would say that man's had some work done. He's definitely had, and he's a big fan of doing the fist and the thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. So there you go.
Wow, it's good to see he's still alive.
He is still with us. So do you have a Wayne Allen Root story?
Well, I have a toll-free number story which dates back to college days. So it wasn't specifically Wayne Root.
Okay.
There was another one. I believe it was Jim Feist.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, right? Feist, I think.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah. So a friend of mine was a college roommate of his son and got the lowdown on all this. So if you call the number and your pick wins, you pay. And if you call the number and you lose, you would get another pick for free, which honestly, if you're going to pick a loser for me, I'm not sure why I want another pick, but great. Just keep giving me losers. But the idea there is that they would just every other call give both sides. So 50% winners and 50% losers that would come back for the free pick and then go through that same process again. The winners, God knows what happened to them. But it was, it was just, if you called twice, you got both sides. So you were due to win. You just had to place 2 bets.
That's not winning, though.
Right, Joe? Guaranteed winners is all they said. They did not say that it would be the only based on one pick. If I give you the Chiefs and the Eagles, I promise and 1,000% guarantee to pick the winner of the Super Bowl.
You were in the Wall Street Journal
today.
Yeah.
Today. Yeah.
Was
all
it
grown up?
Was it for your picks?
No, they haven't gotten there yet. That's the future. They did say there could be a podcast opportunity coming from this, but
perhaps
it had nothing to do with picks.
So why did I see your handsome face on the Wall Street Journal, Gordon? What's going on here?
Well, first, so you know, the jacket that I wore in the photo was from a friend of mine. When you're moving back and forth in different locations, I didn't know what to wear. I wasn't going to wear a suit to go look at a condo. I wasn't going to wear a suit to go to a closing, which I don't even wear a suit at work. Obviously, This is more like me. So they decided to do a story on buying a condo, and they reach out to me. There we go. See the nice jacket? That's my buddy Dan. Yep, nice jacket there.
That's You need some aviators with that thing, man.
Yeah, I had them on, and then after the first couple photos, she said, we might want to see your eyes so they don't think that something dark is going on underneath.
What are you? What are you, fed? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, well, the first thing my son said was, Dad, that jacket's from the 70s, and I said, yeah, but it's so am I, right? It's actually high school was from the 70s, so what's the difference? And my jacket was gone, full of holes, so I couldn't do that anymore, but. You're sort of in between. You come up here and it's 65 degrees and you don't have anything to wear. So I went straight to a friend's house, grabbed a jacket, went in, and it was an interesting process because they reached out and asked if I knew anybody that was buying a condo or had just bought a condo.
Mm-hmm.
And I've dealt with them for years, and I sarcastically, which normally is a mortgage story, not just Gordon buying a condo. And after talking with them, the editor changed the whole story from a bunch of people talking about their stories to one man's journey to come back to very cold weather to be closer to his daughter. The Hallmark movies, I think, debuts 27.
It starts in a highlight pit, and then
It
eventually
does.
winds up with you
Buying a
buying a
Christmas
condo
Yes.
in Michigan.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where we make the baby, and it's like it's R-rated, but I'm not in it, so I'm casting right now for it.
Yeah, but I know
I've
it's
got my
gonna be
ideas.
you, so it's
What?
like, so that's the thing.
Well, no, we've reached out to Clooney already.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, right.
So what you about that condo life? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, so we in this instance, what we needed was Traverse City ends up being about 4 hours from Detroit, where I've got season tickets for Lions and Michigan football, and also and basically anything that happens in Michigan is more centrally located to Detroit. Traverse City is a cherry festival, and 4th of July Memorial Weekend will be packed here. As you can see, it's with the lakes and the normal weather, not 48 degrees. It's beautiful up here. But my boys obviously are down working at Miller Landing. My daughter was up in Michigan alone, but my mother-in-law is also in long-term memory care there. So we needed something to be closer to family. And a condo, when you're not going to be there 365 days a year, and it's in a community, and it can be looked after, and the grounds are kept, and you're not worrying about. We have to worry about snowplow in the winter up here. If you had a house, you'd still have to have I think they had 9 snowplows up here in Traverse City last winter, and we were hanging out at Lenovo, nice and warm. Yeah, they just decided to turn it into the story, and interviewed the seller and interviewed everybody except my realtor. So I kept trying to push him in because he's the one that kind of pulled all this together. But they just wanted to do a story on a guy, and the guy just happened to be me.
Just happened to be you, but you're more than just a guy. You're the home of no closing costs. So
and formerly the Hank after a couple of these segments too, I think.
Well, you might still be formerly the Hank if none of these hit.
That's what I mean. Right. Yes. Right. So then I'll just be the Wall Street guy after this.
There we go.
I don't know.
It's Condo Boy from the Wall Street Journal.
Right. We'll turn him into Condo Boy, and I'll be in a bubble next time.
Perfect. MillerLending.com/the OG is the landing page. So check them out. Go to that landing page. No closing costs. It's exactly what it sounds like. The rate is the rate, but it keeps you flexible. You're not playing this math game that ain't going to math for you. And you could be like Giglio last week, who closed on some debt consolidation, because that home interest rates could be a hell of a lot lower than credit cards, Gordon.
Yeah, I mean the thing that I just went ahead and twisted off to in the radio spots that we've been doing forever is just the thought of, who was the guy that agreed to pay closing costs. And too many people get caught up in a low rate or a low quote or something online that they see. There are national companies that are great at just showing you what the rate is, but that's only half the story. So what you frequently find is anybody, talking about some low rate has a lot of closing cost. And that's where we made you the 8 and 4 guy. You go ahead and you pay to buy a rate down, and the average life of a loan is only 4 years. And it's you're not going to stay in a loan long enough to even break even, but it's the sheep mentality. People just keep paying and paying and paying.
What we need to do is we need to get Akshay Bhatia a Miller Lending swag to wear in Detroit at a certain tournament in a month or so at the Detroit Country Club, the Donald Ross course, because Akshay is going to win that thing, and I want to see that Miller Lending on his polo. We got to get this done. Got to get this done.
All right. Well, I'll shoot you the address offhand, and you just got to tell me the location, because it's certainly not going to be played at the Grand Traverse Resort. So I'm anticipating
you're not a golf person.
Yeah,
it's in Detroit. There's a certain national chain that sponsors the event in Detroit.
Oh, the classic. Yes. The Spaceship Classic. Right. Yes. That one.
So
right.
We're going to combat those people head on by backing the winner from the triangle.
I love it.
Well, I think the first 3 days of the tournament, I should be rocking this.
I
probably wouldn't be let in, but yeah.
Who knows? If you wear an OG logo, you might be fine. Gordon, all right, man. Good catching up. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. We'll see how you did. We might strip the Hank from you.
It's dog days. So yeah,
we're mad at you, dude.
Hey, if Joe hits these 4 dogs today, then I'm good for the whole season. Is that not correct? Money lines multiply. It
be
would,
pretty good.
yes, it would be good.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Big thanks to Keller Williams Commercial. TriangleNCCommercial.com, 919-616-8681. Call the Donnelly team today. Brian and Julie are going to help you out with your commercial real estate needs. This is not an area of like buying a house. Yeah, man, I get that. I've done it. We've all done it. But commercial real estate, that's a little trickier. Like, what exactly are you looking for? Are you looking for warehouse space? Are you looking to, I don't know, open up a hockey training facility somewhere on the outskirts of the Triangle because you're done with the podcast life and you want to get in on that? I've thought about this.
You trying to tell me something?
I've thought about this.
Okay.
Think about it. OG Arena
Oh yeah.
to train? Think about that. Well,
We have our own beer. I mean,
we do. So maybe we serve OG Light at OG Arena. These are things I think about.
21 plus.
So this is where the Donnelly team can help you out. It's like, I need a place where I can put a small rink in a warehouse. What do you got? They got you. 919-616-8681. Butcher's Market's got you. We'll be doing OG Live on Thursday. We also have the mailbag thanks to our friends at the Butcher's Market. And I mentioned running all over the place. You might not have time to tailgate. You know what you can do?
Steak and cheese.
At the Lake Boone location.
Yes.
Makes it super convenient. So hit the Butcher's Market before the game and be ready to go by face-off. And of course, our friends at Roback. Giglio's rocking the Roback today. That's the old North State, right?
I had to wear the North Carolina one because when I wore the Jersey one, people were like mad at me. I was like,
You're from Jersey.
whoa, people, what is going on here? Why are you getting mad at me about?
Ooh, you know what I need? I need the Boca
There's a lot of Florida options.
with little flamingos because everything in Boca is pink.
Okay.
That's like by rule. It's like city ordinance that most of the buildings have to be pink.
Yeah, you got to slow down a little bit because you do have the
I do. I have
the City of Oaks.
I do have the City of Oaks. I have.
Oh, you have the AV card
I have
too.
the AV card as well.
Look at us. We're like, look, just get them.
all these bags. Just go and buy them. No big deal, right? No big deal.
OG20. Use that promo code, save 20%.
So yeah, go to roback.com, RHOBACK.com. All right, let's get out of here with some Hey Joe. By all means, call the OG Sports Phone. I have a feeling it's going to get some action tonight during the After Dark between the Canes and the Panthers.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports Phone and curse or don't.
OG Sports Phone is brought to you by Nature's Relief. Check them out online at naturesreliefhempstore.com. RELEAF hempstore.com. Let's go to a 919.
Hello, gentlemen. Just wanted to call in and say I really enjoyed listening to Ryan from Hot Garbage Sports. I thought he gave some really good insight, and it's always nice to get a fresh take from someone who's not in cane circles. So I really enjoyed having him on. I would love to hear him again, just for future reference. If you guys are looking to have him on again, I'm a fan who really enjoyed listening to his insight and his X's and O's, and obviously the backstories of Seth Jarvis. Also on another note, I've been a fan of the Canes my whole life. They came to Raleigh the year I was born. They won the cup when I was in middle school, and something really sweet. Tomorrow my wife and I are going to the hospital for scheduled delivery of my first son, and it will be the first thing I do with him will be to watch Canes playoff hockey. Really looking forward to it, and look forward to bringing another Caniac into the world. Thanks, guys.
Why do all these listeners try to warm up my cold heart? Why?
Also, send us your address.
Yes.
Email me your address, giglio.joe@gmail.com. I got a 2 Roosters onesie for you.
Love that. Love
Yes.
that. People having babies. Aho just had a baby. The moderator just had a baby. They're having a baby. Why? Why are you putting me in my feels, y'all?
5. So what does that get us back to?
What?
People were having the sex in the summer. 9. It's really like 10 months, right? 12 minus 5 is 7. So yeah, it's the summer sex. It's 4th of July.
Yeah,
Right?
man,
Is my math 5 plus 5?
You're doing enough Jello shots, man. You never know.
There you go.
Ryan from back to the caller's point.
That's how babies are made, Joe, just in case you didn't know.
Not in some circles.
It's fair.
I mean, it's fair. There's one guy out there that's just like, I mean, anyway, if you believe the headlines, regardless. Yeah, no, back to Ryan from Hot Garbage Sports. It's interesting. YouTube is a fascinating place where it doesn't require a lot of upfront cost to get going. And I think people are also kind of used to being okay with not the slickest production value as long as the audio sounds good.
His audio was on point.
Look, man, I know that microphone that he's using, that's a Shure microphone. That's like the podcast mic for a lot of people. You got to remember when we got started 2 years ago, you didn't actually have the money to drop on a Shure microphone.
No.
I like my Heil microphones. Heil sounds good mics. But those Shure mics are like the microphone that everybody uses.
I could hear it.
Yeah, you can hear it, right?
It's like, okay.
I was like, ooh, do we need to drop $500 on a Shure microphone?
It's not just one.
We got to buy 3, right? Oh, man. We're not quite there yet. Not quite there yet. But again, these microphones are fine.
As long as I don't get scammed by the Department of North Carolina Secretary of whatever.
But what I always find fascinating about YouTube and sports is that it allows for all sorts of different ways to look at sports to come through. It's not just one monolithic thing.
Yeah.
And the algorithm, as much as I raise my fist at the algorithm is also helpful in putting people on your radar that you might not have known. Ryan is one of those guys when you're looking for Canes content. And yeah, there's all sorts of ways you can go about it. I thought his approach to this kind of stuff is sometimes you have to have guests on where you learn something. Ryan is absolutely one of those guys where you learn something. So I'm sure we will have him back on. I know a lot of our listeners pointed him out to us earlier. He reached out to us. I reached out to him. It was kind of funny how that all worked out. So I'm sure we will talk to Ryan again. This next call is from a 202. It got cut off on the front end, but I could imply from the message that I was able to salvage that this is about Paul Maurice and how Paul Maurice is viewed now in the NHL and media. Now as a Florida Panthers head coach who has had success at multiple locations, went to a cup with the Canes, obviously 2 cups with the Panthers, 1, and where Maurice is and kind of his path to where he is today.
That's not how I remember this all starting when he was a young coach with the Canes. I think he was something like in his 20s when he was first hired by Hartford. He played with Peter Karmanos' junior organization, and Jim Rutherford was involved too. So it was like sort of a kid that he was brought up by the Karmanos organization, and he stuck around with Hartford and Carolina for like 10 years, I guess, in the first go around with not a lot to show for it. I mean, obviously 02 was great, but there seemed to be a lot of commitment to him as a young coach by this club, even though NHL coaches don't have a long leash otherwise. So just interesting to see, sort of what the secret to his longevity has been in the NHL, and a lot of the patience that organizations have given, because you see a lot of other coaches that start out, maybe struggling, maybe a little young, don't get that long of a career, but Maurice seems to really have grown and established himself as one of the great coaches, obviously. So interested to hear your thoughts, having watched his career for a long time. Thanks, guys.
So, like I was saying, the call got a little cut off, but the crux of it still was we're able to understand what we're getting at here with Paul Maurice and his time with the Canes and how he came up and things like that. The one thing you have to remember, and maybe I'm misremembering, and Joe, you could correct me on this because you actually were in the room and all that stuff, covering the team at that time. The one thing about Karmanos and the Patience is that the Whalers / Hurricanes were very familial, right? I used to joke under the Jim Rutherford Karmanos era that they were the greenest team in the NHL because of the way they would recycle people. Right down to the coach when they brought Paul Maurice back. So you have this weird intersection of how the NHL operates. You have the pre-Dundon era where you had an owner and a general manager who were very loyal to their people to give them multiple opportunities. And that's true of just about any line of work, any career. If you have people in your corner well, chances are you'll have more leeway. You'll survive a little bit longer. There will be patience. I can speak from experience on this, that when there's somebody that's making decisions goes away and that safety net is taken away, things can happen pretty quick. Again, I can speak from experience on this. So I think Maurice had that with Hartford / Carolina, and it allowed him to grow as a coach. Also, you got to remember too, a part of his career trajectory wasn't going straight back to the NHL. He spent some time in the minors too, with the Marlies, before he finally found himself back into the mix. And you also have to allow for a guy to grow too as a coach, which he obviously has done. The other thing that is interesting about the NHL is that you cycle through coaches pretty quick, but coaches never really go away sometimes. Sometimes you need the new voice just to come in to shake things up. There's a shelf life. There's a couple of coaches that have that shelf life. Tortorella is one of those guys. You bring him in, you know you've got to like the clock is ticking the minute he takes that job, right? So I think Maurice is the opposite of that. You got to give him time to let things go. I think Brind'Amour also is, you're seeing the payoff with Brind'Amour. As much as you have the Maurice Brind'Amour thing and everything else, and what did you learn, all that kind of stuff. You've allowed Brind'Amour to grow as a coach and have that longevity and playoff experience pay off the way we've seen it so far in this playoff round.
Yeah, Mo was a prodigy, a coaching prodigy. And he was 28 years old when he was hired by Peter Carmanos and Hartford and Jim Rutherford. And when to see the glow up and see the flowers that he's gotten since last year, well, I'll tell you, the person who's almost as happy as he is and his dad and his family and everyone else is Jim Rutherford. Because Jim Rutherford always said that Mo was a prodigy, was a really good coach, a really smart guy. And he took so much heat for hiring the CompuWare kid. You know, back when it was Hartford and the Whaler, they were the Whale. They weren't even the Forever 500 Whale. Okay. They were at the end of the run there, and it was viewed as like this, you know, folly by Carmanos and Rutherford to hire this 28-year-old. And he turned out to be the perfect coach for when the Canes were here the first time around, because he has a great way of relating the game to people who don't know the game. And that's part of his brilliance, if you will, his intelligence, if you will, is that ability to communicate. And think about the dynamic. Ron Francis is the franchise player who they re-sign, right? He didn't get a chance to coach him in Hartford, but they re-sign Ron Francis when they get here to Raleigh. Ron Francis is older than Paul Maurice, and obviously is one of the greatest players in the history of his league and has all of this respect. And one of the first things you're going to do to a 28-year-old is be like, well, I don't respect you. I'm not going to listen to you. Right. So Mo's had to kind of learn. It's crazy to think that Mo is only 58 right now.
I know.
Mo could probably coach for another 20 years if he wanted to.
Yeah.
So that part of it's interesting. You mentioned the trip with the Marlies, the stint with the Marlies. The thing that fascinated, and that was after he had been fired by Jim Rutherford, one of the hardest things Jim Rutherford had to do. Because you're to your point, coaches are hired to be fired. Their message, stagnates, and you need a new voice.
Yeah.
One thing he did after coming back, he comes back. He goes to the Marlies. Then he ultimately is the Leafs coach. Goes to Russia. He spent a year in Russia. That's hard. That's really, really hard.
In Russia, they coach you.
And then he had the most success he had the most consistent success with the Jets. Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah.
Did a great job with them. And then, of course, now with the Panthers had that wonky connection to the Blackhawks sexual abuse rape scandal and needed a new coach on a team that was clearly being built to be a winner. Comes in, they flail through that first regular season because they had made a major trade with the Flames. Ultimately, that team ends up in the Stanley Cup Finals, beats the Canes. Bobrovsky has an unbelievable series against the Canes, but falls apart in the final. Then he gets to write the full circle moment last year. Legitimately, I was ecstatic for him.
No, happy for him
to win and have that moment. And I know Jim Rutherford, who I believe, and Pete Carmanos, who I believed in him so long ago, and took so much heavy criticism for hiring a 28-year-old Doogie Howser. If you go back and Jerry Higgins, if you go back and ask Jerry Higgins.
For those who don't know, Jerry Higgins was the communications guy for the Canes when they got here.
Yeah, but he had covered them for one of the 50 Connecticut papers back in the day who covered the Whalers. And, it was Doogie Howser. And that itself obviously is a dated reference to the 16-year-old. Neil Patrick Harris played a 16-year-old Harvard medical grad doctor.
Right.
Yeah, so he took a lot of criticism early in his career. and I think he's learned along the way. You know, he's obviously one of my favorite coaches. I vividly remember, and my wife even said, I want to go to game 5. And I said, okay. And she's like, I just want to see Mo even from afar, because in 2002, when the Hurricanes lost into Detroit, we were at Sullivan's together, Mo and his wife, Mickey. And, you know, that was 23 years ago now. But, you know, Mo was always had a great way about him, and not everyone liked Mo, right? Like, plus some of the players we bristled at.
Bristle at it. He's not exactly.
Luke and Mo always would have some of their moments together.
Wow, you mean like two highly educated guys with a sarcastic streak? Or like, speaking of Luke and sarcasm, I mean, did you see Luke the other day post this? You know, just in case it comes up on the national broadcast, Ron Francis' impact on the current Carolina roster, because you know how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know, Ron's got his fingerprints, all the other stuff. I mean, and given all the connections, if they do get through the Eastern Conference Finals, they should bring Ron Francis out to hold the Prince of Wales trophy. He loves doing that. He does love doing that. So maybe you should do that. It's funny you mentioned Jerry Higgins. Real quick story time. In my young days at 850 The Buzz and dealing with a professional locker room for the first time.
Yeah,
because I'd been used to how colleges work. They bring players out to you. It's whatever. Jerry was like, "Hey, look, man." Like real tough love. Because I was like 22, 23 or whatever it was. And he just comes up to me in the hallway that has never changed down there in Lenovo Center. He just comes up to me. He's like, "Look, man, these are pros. You just go in there and you talk to them. You want to talk to a guy? You walk up to a guy." I'm like, okay. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. It was very, very amusing. But he was right. Let's go to 919.
Hey, guys. Just calling about the conversation about the PGA in Charlotte right now. I know you guys may not have another segment on this, so it may not even make the radio, but I just think, you know, in regards to the difficulty of the course that you guys were discussing, Giglio, I know you said you kind of like the idea of the PGA being, you know, a shootout where the winning score is 15 to 20 under. I think if you're going to have that at any of the majors, this is the one to have it at, just with the connotation that comes with certain majors. The U.S. Open is the hardest major to win, and some people might contest that, but I don't really think it's close. It's the hardest golf courses in the world every single June, and I think that's the connotation that the U.S. Open carries. PGA, I'm more okay with the low scores. However, I do, maybe this is just my psychotic self, I love seeing carnage. I love the best players in the world being made to look stupid when they putt off the side of the green. I love that. I think it elevates the value of majors, even though this is, quote unquote, the lesser of the 4 majors. So, thanks, guys.
Yeah, I've liked the PGA to find its niche, and maybe this week was a nice balance of it.
Okay.
There was more of a test. The course had more teeth than we kind of anticipated going into the weekend. But obviously, the round that Scheffler had on Saturday was you know, where he made his bones. So I enjoy the PGA. I enjoy when they let him kind of go a little bit to the caller's point, because you know the U.S. Open and this year in particular, they're going to grow the rough. It's going to be stupid. It's going to be wet. It's going to be cold.
Sure.
You know, you're walking uphill in barefoot in the snow
Both
and all
ways.
that other shit.
They're actually using wood drivers.
While I knew we would get one of the 3 best players in the world winning in Charlotte, I think you're going to have a wide array of options at the U.S. Open next month.
All right. One last.
I have one for you too.
Well, do you want to get to Hayes? Because
let's let Hayes close it.
Hayes, rather than Hayes Perma from the Rialto, rather than him just texting us saying, "Hey guys, can I come in the studio?" He just called the sports phone.
No, let me put this on, because yesterday I mentioned it, and I feel like there's a significant portion of our audience that is going to enjoy this.
Okay.
And I feel like I can't just say it and leave people to their own devices. So here is maybe the greatest piece of social media that anyone's done in the last 15 years.
Oh, this is the Sydney Sweeney ASMR.
Sydney Sweeney with Glenn Powell. Apparently they're in a movie together.
Okay.
Somebody had an idea for them to read pickup lines to each other.
Yeah, this is old.
Okay, well, whatever it is. It was on my timeline.
Right, I get it, because the algorithm's funny like this. This came out during the time that they were promoting a movie.
Yeah. That
the rumors were flying that they were hooking up.
Oh, okay.
During this movie.
That's fine.
If I remember,
remember
no. There was one reason why one of them shouldn't have been.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But regardless, that was the tabloid fodder.
But I feel like
with
I couldn't
Glenn Powell.
mention this and then not like find it and follow through for
And
the
one
people
of
out
one
there.
of these two has actually gone on to be the hot thing when both of them were tabbed to be the hot thing. Sydney Sweeney has gone on to be the hot thing. Glenn Powell,
All
not
right,
so much.
here we go.
Anyway,
Yes, pickup lines. If you were an elevator, what button would I have to press to make you go down?
Basement. You want to save water by showering together?
What's your name again? I want to make sure I'm screaming out the right one tonight.
Okay, you're so hot. My zipper's falling for you. Zip.
There are 206 bones in the human body, but I'd like to have 207.
Okay, you get the point.
yeah, they did.
I had to share it.
Couldn't
mention it, couldn't reference it, and not share it. Whoever did that needs a raise.
If they didn't, they did a really good job of acting they did. Just saying. Anyway, sometimes you can just tell. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, no.
I'm disappointed that it's old now. Like, when I find things, I feel like I'm discovering plutonium.
I know. Sitting in the bathroom going, look at what I've discovered. Fire. Not
Wilson.
Joe, that's like a 2-year-old video. Anyway, let's close things out with Hayes.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Hayes. I love how the voice prompt from Ovies sounds like I'm buying tickets to Disney in 1991 via phone. Also, a couple other shout-outs. OG Light coming out. Looks amazing. I did see the graphic that came with it, and I just wanted to congratulate Giglio on the OG Light graphic celebrating the 20th anniversary of your 30th birthday. I've never seen you look as young as you do there. And Ovies, I know you've got Cuban heritage, but are you sure you also don't have a little Haitian maybe in there as well? Because the edge up on your hairline is super tight, so looking good there. Also wanted to give a shout out to the guy at the Billy String show that was selling me beers, who told me he was sweating more than any of the people that were doing way more drugs than he was. He was supporting the Carey band, which I always love, and he gave me a quick shout out that he loves hearing me anytime I'm on the Ovies and Giglio podcast. Also, shout out to the guy who called in and said, if Hayes can't come in as a substitute talker, then just shut it down. No hate to Dimitri, but I was a fan of that guy. So I love my fans out there. I am a little bit thinking, like, should I have to call in the OG line? I mean, I know the number is a big thing. It's a big branding thing. But I feel like I should just be able to send in my sound and be part of the show. Anyway, last thing, look, Ovies, I'm with you on Star Wars takes, on Weezer's takes. I support you. I think that Giglio blows you off too much and is unwilling to invest in matters outside of X and O sports that, your podcast should be getting into that people care about. But when you give Star Wars takes and you give Weezer's takes, and then you say that Sydney Sweeney is not your type, you're just hurting the stereotype, man. You're just hurting the stereotype. Sydney Sweeney is all our types. Men, women, I don't care. She's all of our types. That's it. Go Canes. I'm out. I'll call you later. See you.
As I said,
That was perfect.
He can come in anytime he wants. Whatever.
Perfect. Love it.
He knows where our studio is. All right. I guess we'll start backwards. The Sydney Sweeney thing. I have a type.
Yeah, I'm not buying this one, Joe.
I have a type.
Sorry.
We all have a type, do we not?
That's fair.
We all have a
That's
type,
fair.
right?
That's fair.
I like pale brunettes. Straight up. It ain't complicated. Okay. To be clear, I specifically said about Sydney Sweeney. I get it. I didn't say, nah. Did I say nah? No. Also, to be clear, you do cross an age barrier at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Where, and I'm being complete, if you really want to go there.
I was gonna say, well, how old's ScarJo? I feel like she's the limit.
She's like our age.
No.
Yeah, she is.
She's 40.
Yeah. How old is Sydney Sweeney? Like 25?
No, she's young. She's young.
Right? Is she 25?
Nah, she's got to be older than that.
How
right?
old is Sydney Sweeney now?
Don't hurt me. 27.
Okay. My point still applies, though.
Does the Bill Belichick math apply here?
Right. Like, that's the thing. And I mean, if you wanted to tie it to Belichick, there is something to it where you do get to a certain point in your life at a certain age where you look at younger, and you just go, I get it, but no. You know? Like, give me Tina Fey. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
That's all. That's all. I'm not saying I don't get it. I get it. Just, she a pale brunette? I'm sorry. Let me be a fair-skinned brunette. She out here looking like Snow White? Yes.
Do I need to call the sports phone to hear this instructional?
Oh, have you not heard it?
No.
He says Disney. I was going for more movie phone.
Movie line? Yeah.
You've called movie phone. It's more like that.
Our second Seinfeld reference of the day. I love it.
It's more like that than anything else. Yeah, the prompt is.
Oh, I got to call them.
Yeah, call the prompt.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to hear it.
You do that.
So you could do that. What else? The Billy Strings. Now, I need clarification. Was the guy working the Carrie band booth? Because now I got questions. That would be like me working the Enlo band booth at Walnut Creek and somebody coming up going, man, I'm sweating off these drugs. Like, that's not a good look for the Enlo band. You see what I'm saying? No. So I got questions. Was he standing in line at the Carrie band and the guy was telling him this? I wasn't quite clear. The hair jokes. Hey, man.
30th. What was it? The
30th anniversary.
20th anniversary.
20th anniversary, the 30th birthday. Yeah.
I like that.
And as far as the as far as my heritage goes, well, if you look at me and you look at my dad, there is some stuff mixed in back in Spain. You could do it. Go do a history. Go look up a history book about Spain.
Is it like My People?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. What else was there? And that was it. That's all we got. Did we cover everything with Hayes?
That was a great. That was totally unplanned too. By the way, that I had the Sweeney.
That was good.
ASMR.
And Hayes, just come to the studio, dude. Spend less time trying to get viral.
It's been cute lately.
He's in his bag. He's in his bag. He's in his bag. I'll give him credit. He's in his bag. All right, we'll see you tonight for an OG After Dark.